You're listening to Conversations in the Mat.
Hello, everyone. This is Conversations in the Mat. Today's topic, we're talking about dating in this day and age. So we'll open the floor up. So who would like to start?
I like to start. I'll start. I think this topic is a weird topic because it's a lot of different perspectives. Dating right now, it's more of a we lack trust with each other. So I think now more than ever, it's just a lack of trust, and I think that's the main problem.
That's tough.
Brother Alejandro, what you mean by
Man,
that?
I'm tired of my shoe. Let me finish. Okay.
Oh gosh.
I just don't know. These kids crazy days, man. I don't know what they're doing. Like, some of them over here talking about some throat baby. I don't know what that song's about. It's just people ain't got the right mindset. You understand? They don't understand what a relationship is. Sometimes they just in it just to kick it. They don't have like any end goal. You understand? Like when you in a relationship, right? You're supposed to be thinking about building an empire. But people out here, they just kicking it for the moment. And then nothing gets done at age. So that's why we got like high single parent rates. Black men not coming to black women, vice versa, because we don't really have any goals in a relationship. We just kick it. We go with the flow. And that's why like black families are attacking a lot of other things. So we got like instill some principles in that realm so that we can move forward. Because the old people back in the day, they had principles about it, but now we don't. We just very loose. So we don't have no like guidelines or laws set, like a 12 commandments.
I agree with that, but that's a big generalization.
Yeah. I also concur. My thing is, right, when you say that, because for a second I thought you were going to go into like marriage rates and how like people stayed together longer back then. I say, well, if you was to go into that, I'll just say, if you was, that's because they have to stay together. But you say that, things are looser now, and that I will agree with you. They are looser now, but at the same time, a lot of people are more honest now about what they want. Because even back in those days, quite a few people married just because the female looked good at the time and they wanted to have sex and have kids with them. So on and so forth. But at the same time, I do appreciate the honesty of the generation. Like, hey, I just want to do this, this, and this. I don't want to spend the rest of my life with somebody that I already know that I'm not going to be compatible with. That's one of the things that like I don't want it to. Why should I spend the rest of my life with somebody that I feel as though that I'm only here just for a good time, not a long time? No Drake, but you get what I mean? I mean, just like
I feel like social media plays a big part when it comes to relationships. So a lot of people look at social media and how their relationship is, and they say, "Oh, I want my relationship to be that way, like materialistic." Just have a lot of stuff where it says I don't have to be, I don't have to commit, just different things. I just feel like a lot of people just, I don't want to say weak-minded, but a lot of people just see others' relationships and say, I want my relationship to be that way, but they need to focus more about, okay, my relationship is different from others, and I want it to present in a different way than what I see on social media.
About the social media thing, when you see things on social media, that's what you see on a camera. That's what they show you. You don't see that what they go through off camera or what they go through their daily lives, and people ain't prepared for that. They see this glamorous life of people in love, and they think that's how it's going to be every single day, but it's not like that all the time. Mm-hmm. Like you have your down days and you have your up days, and some days you don't want to talk to each other, and some days you all up under each other. It just be like that sometimes. And I think that's just us as people.
Going off that, I believe in that too. You gotta, like, everything takes two. You gotta come into a relationship knowing, oh, not everything's gonna be perfect, but you gotta come in willing to grind, willing to, no matter what happens, I'm gonna stay with you and we gonna work this out no matter what. You can't just give up at the first time to struggle, you know what I mean?
Anything that's worth it is worth work.
Just give or take.
Exactly.
People understand that.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can we as a generation change that, Like, how can we say, okay, let's take a break of not looking at social media. Let's take a break of not looking at what other people have going on with them, and kind of like put it back in the households like it used to be, like he said, how it used to be portrayed by older people. So how can we bring that back?
I know personally for me, the way I always handled that is I had a clear mindset of what is what. I knew what was on the internet, and I knew what is real life. I knew that what I'm looking at, yeah, it looks all good, but that's not how it is all the time. Like, I don't know if you got to teach on that or you just know that when you hit a certain point, but, like, I already knew things aren't always what they perceive to be. Just like when we were younger, right, playing video games, your mom used to always, oh, you know, the real world not like that, especially like Call of Duty and stuff like that. I already knew that. Like, of course, Mom, of course you can't just revive yourself and stuff like that. I already always had that clear view, like, things are different than what they seem.
Yeah, and I think the same thing too when it comes to social media is that, like, the difference between this generation, like generations prior, that they didn't have social media. They didn't have a way to connect literally across the world in 0.2 seconds like that. And partially, I think you do have to teach and remind people that what you see on social media are just consistent highs. You're not seeing the lows. You're not seeing the time, the work, the dedication. You're not seeing the issues unless it comes out and it's all messy. Like, you can have low points without it being drama, without it being all dirt, dish thrown, DMs being leaked, all that type of stuff. The thing about it is, we have to normalize, you know, being okay to have a low point in a relationship. Like, just because the relationship gets tough doesn't mean it has to end. And the thing with social media is that, like, again, it just shows high points. It just constantly reminds you, like, oh yeah, they're doing great. Next week you see, oh, they're still doing great. Oh, they're doing even better. Okay, they're still doing great. Not as good as the last time, but still doing good, you know? And it just sucks because a lot of people usually deal with a lot of lows that nobody else gets to see. And when they deal with the lows, they see other people doing good. Now all of a sudden their lows get even lower because they're like, dang, like I can't even do that. Like I can't even get to that point with like somebody that I'm interested in or that somebody looks like that, you know, so on and so forth.
A lot of people don't know how to be by themselves, so that's why a lot of times they do relationship. They just want to be with somebody and hang out. You gotta be sexually disciplined. Because some people, I see you rolling your eyes at me now. Okay, I'm telling you. Because some people, when you ask them why they're in a relationship, they probably just saying because they're gonna get some. So if you talk to them, they answer that. They don't got no principles or goals down. You gotta ask yourself, is this person a liability or an asset? So am I gonna be out here spending money on this female because she wants this and that and the third? Or is she going to be helping me achieve my goal? You got to think about that. Because if you just dating a date, or you dating with a purpose. Most people, they just date a lot of times. Because they don't know what they're doing. But you got to have a purpose. Because your goal comes first. You come first. Stop putting instant gratifications above what your life goal is. If you find that person's going to help you achieve your goal, then do that. But if she not, keep on moving. You don't want to be held back. That's why you got to learn how to be alone a lot of times first. So that you know what you need first. Then you can find somebody who can help you fulfill your needs as well too. Yeah. Spiritually, mentally, intellectually, all that type of stuff. But if you're out here just like, no, she bad, I'm gonna go with her. She could be good looking, but she could still not be good in the mind either. You got to get somebody who matches you.
I'm gonna piggyback off that real quick. Like you said, I'm not against people dating a date because it takes time to learn yourself. Sometimes you learn parts of yourself when you're with other people. Yeah. Like as a person, I spend a lot of my time alone, and I'm comfortable with myself alone. I know as much as I could possibly know about myself by myself. But sometimes when I'm around other people, with other people, I learn different things about myself, like my likes and dislikes, these things I want to do and these things I don't want to do. So dating a date, I feel like it gives you that experience. Maybe your experience on how to treat somebody else in a relationship. Because if you're just dating and your end goal is, I want to marry this person I date, and you don't have any dating experience on how to treat another person's experience, you're going in at basically level 1. You don't know what you're doing. But if you date the date and you learn as you progress and you see what you like and don't like and what works and what doesn't work, you have that experience to bring it into your main relationship. Like the person you're with right now may not be the person you with forever, but when you get there, you're a mature person. You know how to handle emotions. You know how to communicate properly. Like I know a lot of women be like, I don't want to build a man, or we be like, I don't want to build a woman or whatnot, and teach them how to be an adult. But sometimes people have to learn, and some people, for other people, are just stepping stones.
Yeah,
very true.
Like I can look back and I know who my stepping stones are.
Same.
Like no disrespect.
Everyone do.
Like I know who my stepping stones are, and I know what I learned, and I carry what I learned into who I am now. So I mean, I get the idea of dating to marry and dating to move forward and build, but I wanna do it right.
You got to.
I wanna.
I got like 2 things. He brought up a really good point. He got a really good point. He said
that you have to know yourself before you start dating other people, and I completely agree, because how are you supposed to love somebody else, support somebody else, if you can't love yourself, right? If you can't compliment somebody in a way that, you know, they need. Okay, so let me even preface this too. As a person with like divorced parents, so I understand like how relationships die off and stuff, and then seeing both my parents remarry, right? I can see how much stronger those relationships are and how my parents originally, their marriage didn't work out. So I think that people misconstrued the image of a marriage and relationships in general as being, you have to have a strong affinity to each other and you have to be strongly attracted to each other, right? And I think it's actually not true. While it's good, I mean, beauty fades, people change. But like, you have to be strong for each other, right? You have to support each other in places where the other cannot. That's where the strength is. So that, and then, yeah, you just gotta know yourself before you know other people. You know, you can't go out there and like expect people to console you in places where you're broken, right? You can't go and meet a bunch of women and expect them to understand you emotionally when you have no emotional exploration. And so people sometimes set the standard way too high, and I think that kind of fades the image of actually being in a relationship. Because you're looking for each other for something and not for support, rather. Like,
Yeah.
you should be looking for something not to gain, but, you know, where you're weak, you need someone to support you.
Yeah, I think a relationship shouldn't be like, let's say it should be complimentary. Like,
Yeah.
that person should bring out the best in you, and you should bring out the best in that person. Not necessarily like, y'all are just,
Oh, I complete you, you complete me.
yeah, it'd be complimentary. Like, I know it's some things like, myself, like, I don't do as good as my girlfriend can do. Like, for example, cooking. So, you know, being around her, chill. So being around her, my cooking actually gotten better. And then, you know, I'm really good at school. So, you know, me helping her with school, you know, we compliment each other. We bring out the best in each other. So I think another issue is a lot of us dating now, we don't try to bring out the best in each other. We just, like y'all was saying earlier, just want
If you're
something.
not on my level, then you gotta go. It's like,
Yeah, that's how one of my past relationships, it fell apart. It was just, I was trying to push myself forward and grow and keep my mind moving, and she seemed to be just slack, and I can appreciate that. Like, I'm trying to grow and you're being stagnant. It don't mix like that.
Like, there ain't nothing wrong with what you did, man. Cause like, if she not help you tell your purpose, like, you trying to grow, you gotta move on.
Like, I'm not a person that just, I see it, we're done. I make sure I communicate and make efforts so to build you up.
that's important.
And if I keep saying something and you're not changing or moving to accommodate that, then something got to give, and I gave, so I left.
That's 100% true. You can't just like, oh, one strike and you leave. You gotta put in that. Even though you don't feel like it, you gotta at least give that person the chance to try their best. You can't just like, oh, you didn't do this, so now I'm leaving.
Yeah, neither one of us are telepaths. I can't read your mind, you can't read mine. You gotta talk.
And like going off of what you said, my thing is, I love to communicate in person. But me and my girlfriend, we long distance, and even with the pandemic, it being even worse. I don't like communicating with text message because I pick up on visual cues and body language. Me texting, either she says something and I'm thinking, oh, she's upset, but really she's chilling. Or I send something, she think I'm mad, but I'm chilling. And it's just like, that's a lot of time we butt heads. But being with her, I have learned how to express myself more. And I have better my communication. And going a little bit off of what you said earlier, if it wasn't for my past relationship before my girlfriend, I wouldn't have known I was so bad at communicating. So, like everyone said, it's stepping stones. You need to have that the dating around phase, and you can't just go straight into the love of your life unless y'all been together and y'all been growing together.
Yeah.
I get that, but I don't be wasting my time, bro.
You're not wasting your
But
time.
at the same time,
No, look, you gotta think. You can't go. Obviously, if you see a girl just messing around, don't date that girl. That's wasting your time.
I know that.
But if you see a girl that's like, okay, for right now, I can see myself with her, but then sooner or later y'all grow apart, that's perfectly fine.
You
didn't
can't-
waste your time.
Ain't nobody saying that's wrong. Like what you just said, that's cool. But I'm not gonna be out here. Some people they date just because they lonely, man. That's really it.
That is
They-
true.
That's why I call they lonely. It's not no. Oh, I can see myself where they're just lonely, bro.
Well,
Yeah, I agree with that. You gotta have your own time by yourself.
well, yeah, that goes back to your point of why you're going to date. Because some people actually date just because they don't want to be by themselves.
Yeah, man.
Unfortunately.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta be by yourself first, because if you just dating to date, but you lonely, man. But if you like say, okay, I can see myself with this person, I mean, you at least doing something important. But I was talking to people, they're like, yeah, man, you know, I just ain't got no sisters, so I had to go get me one, and they don't even care about them.
Well,
They just hitting away.
well, to your point, then, isn't that you say having purpose to date, right? So I know in your head, like your viewpoint, you have a specific thing how you want to date. Like you're dating to marry, to build your empire and things like that. Well, maybe some people ain't that far in the game yet, thinking wise. Like imagine how you telling a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, they just started dating. Oh, see this girl here? You thinking about dating? You need to date her because that might be your future wife. Or date her to be your future wife.
Yeah.
I mean,
And even-
I'm gonna tell you this though. I don't believe people in high school should be dating. That's my opinion.
High school
No,
the
no,
best place to
High
Because
school
the
the best.
reason why I say that is this, right? Like, a lot of people are like, man, why aren't you dating in high school, right? I ain't dating because there's a lot of times you're not gonna be with that person when you're in college. Number one, y'all probably gonna have two different paths. Probably gonna fall out. There's a high chance that happens.
But this goes back to what we were
Number
saying
two,
earlier.
y'all both immature at a very high level.
So,
No, that,
Actually,
You're
that varies.
very immature at a high level.
No. So we do July, Bobby. You got something to say? Okay. So July, Bobby.
Firstly, I want to say that maturity levels don't depend on what age or what grade you're in. Because I know a lot of people that were 15 that was raising their three of their younger siblings. They're very mature. The grade you're in doesn't decide that. But at the same time, high school will be the best place to date somebody because you're already around them and you get to experience what it's like to be in a relationship. More than likely, what it's like to break up from that relationship. Because I know the first time I really broke up from an actual relationship was in high school. It allowed me to be able to understand, okay, what this is like, and allow me to be able to bounce back from it. Because the one thing that a lot of people fear when they get into a relationship is the end when they break up. And whenever they don't know how to deal with it, or like they actually have it happen to them, and then they're just like, okay, I'm just done forever. It's like,
But like, I'm not sure you're really putting on the table by having a relationship in high school.
I mean,
What's on the line, really?
Come on.
You're
But
in
the
high
same-
school.
but at the same time, your emotional
You have to share
investment is varied upon the person. But at the same time, it's like you learn how to deal with certain things like that, like to be able to get in a relationship with somebody. Firstly, because I didn't know how to get in a relationship, but at the same time, how to be able to maneuver in a relationship, what you do and what you don't do in a relationship, what you learn from that relationship to be able to be better in the next one. High school is the best place for that because then you're still learning anyway. So why not learn and then take that into the next relationship?
But high school supposed to be like them learning phases. Like for me,
Exactly.
No, but I'm talking more like about yourself again. You supposed to be still learning about
You
yourself.
can do both.
That's-
You got
that's the
4
point.
years
No,
of
you
high
say you
school.
can do both, but most people cannot multitask that.
No,
But
but
there's
There's
no
no
not.
multitasking.
They
You
cannot,
either
they
have a
cannot
girlfriend or you
multitask that,
don't.
bro. You in high school, man? Listen, focus on your studies. You can go to college. Focus on yourself, and that's what you do. It's
Sir.
high school, man.
Sir.
That's
It's
puppy
high
love.
school.
Bro, I want you to.
That stuff,
I
man.
got that one point. Got that one point. So to your point, my brother has been dating his girlfriend since the 8th grade. They are both sophomores in college now. They still been dating. So I don't think the fact that you're saying you shouldn't date in middle school or high school, I think you actually should, because it also lets you know what kind of person you are. So like, say for instance, you're in a relationship, you're like, dang man, I don't want to be doing all the stuff she be asking me to do, or he be asking me to do, da da da. So it lets you know a little bit more about your character. Like, okay, I'm not willing to overextend myself for somebody else. So I think you can still grow and learn a lot about yourself, because sometimes, being with some person, like I always believe, you meet people for a certain reason. Sometimes they come in your life, they teach you something, then they leave. But you take that knowledge that you learn from them with you for the rest of your life. So like July was saying, so in the future, you're a better person, a better partner for your next love interest. And you never know. The stuff you might learn from that prior relationship might take it to your partner. So you actually make that person your wife, husband, things like that.
Piggybacking off that, it'd be like, we could take it back to simple as communication. Like, in high school, I feel like high school is like a prime example. It's like the best part to begin dating, because it's when you're finally discovering who you are as a person. Like, it's when you bud as a person before getting to college. So dating then, it teach you how to, like, basic communication. Like, sometimes you realize you can't just say certain things. Like, maybe I have a relationship in high school and I walk into, well, your hair ugly. I can't tell, I ain't gonna take that. I can't take that up nowhere. I gotta learn that I can't say that. So what if I'm all the way in college and I'm still talking to women like that?
You have to learn in college, bro. High school for me, bro. That's what it is.
I
feel
But
like
that's the
not
thing.
it,
But that's the
though.
thing, though.
That's not it.
You
To
can't
me,
you
it's
can't
not
base everybody's experiences off of your perceptions.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm saying high school. To be honest, most brothers don't got nothing to bring to the table. Most sisters don't got nothing to bring to the table.
But-
In high school, I really don't.
But it's a
But
risk.
you're always
Because
gonna
it's
feel
compared
like
to
parents
college,
doing
you
it.
don't. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I
but-
say college.
Like I understand the bringing to the table, but when you're in high school, ain't nobody bringing nothing to the table. You're in high school; it's a riskless relationship, so you learn without losing anything, really.
I mean,
And
I'd
maybe
rather,
you
then
back
I'd
off of
rather,
that.
I mean, friendships, then that's what high school is like. Then stop it.
But no, you gotta think about it like this.
Yeah, but I mean, shit, it's all dating.
Look, when you
But you don't
have nothing to lose, and you like, let's say you go for like, you committed and you all this, and you get your heart broke. I'd rather get my heart broken in high school when I'm around my family than get my heart broken in college. Can you picture the impact on somebody?
I will
Well,
say
you got your family
I
to
will
fall
say you
back.
do got something to lose though. Like if you get in a relationship, somebody end up pregnant or something like that. That's gonna.
That's what happens when you
affect
try to
your
get
whole life.
grown in a
That's gonna affect
relationship.
your whole life.
That's
for
going
real.
Yeah.
See, in high school, I don't know what high school y'all went to. I had
We
like
went to
one
black
girl
high. I
pregnant.
went to high school.
I went to
Brothers
white.
was
I
knocking
went to
out.
white high
It
school,
don't matter.
so we
So,
were just
white or black.
getting around.
But at the same
Yeah.
16 pregnant happens.
But at the same time though, like you have to go through relationships to be able to go and be better in your next one. Because I know me, 2 relationships ago is not the same person that's sitting right here, right now.
Facts.
He knows. Lord mercy. I don't.
What do you say?
We're talking about dating. Yeah,
In terms of,
in today's age.
like how y'all feel about it?
Yeah, come on, get this chair right here, boy.
Boy, you a hard of that boy.
I feel like you gotta be honest up front. So
Yeah.
you gotta tell whoever you're just interested in, you gotta tell them what you want from the beginning. So a lot of people know exactly what they want for real, but they try to change up their ways only so they can get what they want, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So speaking of honesty, I think no better person when it comes to honesty and dating should talk about it other than Mr. Andrews.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yes, come on there.
Come on in, brother.
Yeah, I think we're honestly in dating. I don't know if y'all are. I'll just throw this out there, y'all can marinate on it. But I think that y'all's age group, when you talk about like honesty and transparency, y'all interactions are built off of filters. Meaning that y'all lives are filters, your pictures are filters, like everything is like, how do I present my higher self at all times? Nobody is scared to be their real selves. Like, every picture you take is like, man, we put this light up and that girls are lined up. Oh man, that's the best light. Like,
That's a whole, but she don't look like that. Like, she look good.
with dudes, it's like I'm gonna get my refund check and get a stack of money and hold it to my ear like I'm balling, right?
Idiotic. That's
Get some of my
wild.
tax refund money and like we always creating our higher selves to attract people, and when we try to fictionalize our higher selves, you're gonna attract somebody based on that dream, and it's almost like holding your breath. One day you're gonna release like, man, I really ain't that dude. Like if you try to be a thug and then she find out you like the opera, or she gonna be like, I ain't nah. You know what I'm saying? or she trying to
Shower like this.
I'm a thug.
So whenever y'all talk about like relationships, I think social media plays a huge role in that now, as opposed to what we had, because it was pretty much the truth. Like we had Polaroids.
Oh, y'all had a little.
Yeah, like.
I got one of them.
Shaking like a Polaroid.
But y'all can create a whole life on social media to attract people, and those people are attracted to those fairy tales.
Can I piggyback off that?
Go ahead.
So I think, kind of also listening to your point, I think personally, I don't want to be rude or nothing, but you worried about everyone else. I know for me, my approach was I'm gonna keep doing me and express how I come off, and then whoever I attract with that is someone that's on the same level. Like my girl, she don't really take pictures, but when she do, she be looking fire. She got a right lighting, but she not posting pictures all the time. I didn't want an Instagram model. To me, my girl perfect, and I didn't worry about other people's people getting pregnant at 16. I worried about me. right? That's all you gotta do. You worry about yourself, and the right girl will come to you.
I've been worried about Alejandro. I'm up front. You see
Now
me.
you worry about just you.
Yeah,
You gotta be open a little bit.
Yeah, because listen, I'm the always tell you, I'm the realest person, all right, man. I ain't gonna put on no line like, hey, name is Alejandro Ibrahim, Pan-Africanist. I'm very blunt. I like African food, pescatarian.
Is that how you
Hey,
tell
look,
them?
Nah,
you
I'm
pull up to
going
the girl?
that. I'm going that order. Listen, hold on. I'm going that order, but I mean, shoot. I don't be something that I'm not. I don't try to put on something like.
It's not.
I don't act like I got money because I ain't got no money.
And let us speak back there.
But you gotta remember though, it's the way you say it and how you approach it, right? You can be you and say what you want to say, but it's how you approach the situation and how you talk to a person too, because they're gonna take it off the first instinct as well. First impression, the best impression always.
I approach it well. I don't be like, listen,
Man.
bro. I don't be doing
Let's
that.
see.
I just, I'm straight, but I mean, I don't put on no false image or nothing, man.
Okay, so what is your ideal of false image though?
False image, bro. Like, I'm not one of those dudes, right, who be I just say like with the whole money refund check, all that stuff.
I'm not one of them.
Acting like they thug or nothing like that, or act like they had like all the bad shots. Nothing. I'm just like, hey, I'm just on
I
her.
had the baddest. I don't know what y'all
Yeah,
talking
but at
about.
the same
I'm just
time,
me.
I got a
at the
band,
same
man.
time, that's not the only way to be fake.
Instagram model.
That's
work.
like that's not the only way. Like you can do more than that to be fake. Like, oh yeah, I'm like not saying that you're not. Let's say like, oh yeah, I'm all part of this movement. I'm for everything like this. Yeah, Black Power, all this type
Don't
of
know
stuff.
nothing about it.
Sometimes that's a lot at one
Yeah.
time, so you gotta take a baby step.
I don't be doing all of that.
But you can scare
No,
them off
I'm not
sometimes.
saying you. I'm
Sometimes.
saying that like the way to fake the funk is not just oh yeah, I got a lot of money. I'm a gangster. There's a lot of different ways to fake the funk. Just,
I think the main takeaway is it's just all about how you put it out there. Some people can't ingest all that at once.
At one
Some
time.
people can. Some people can't just go straight into the point like that. You gotta lead up to it. You gotta save something for them to figure out. You can't just give them their whole
Exactly.
life story, then later in the relationship they're like, I'm bored.
yeah, my
Like,
thing
you
is,
gotta, you know,
my thing is when it comes to all y'all
Okay.
like how I was when I first met y'all compared to how I am around y'all now,
Mhm.
completely different. Like when I first let's say Jalen, when I first met him, I was all nice, cool, like, hey, how you doing? Like now I am free enough to be as wild and as crazy as I actually am.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like a gradual thing.
Yeah, you've all heard my Gutenberg voice.
And guys too, like y'all gotta understand, y'all gotta give each other some room to
Some leeway?
to grow. Because even though y'all may encounter somebody that's one way, y'all not gonna be that way in 2 years. So we can't hold people to real strict standards of behavior because y'all just not. So when somebody is, if somebody may be too abrasive, you gotta give people time to grow and just engage with it and just don't be like, oh man, it's this way. Because I was very different when I was in college, very, very, very different. And so you grow and you learn, So I think, but when y'all looking at relationships and things like that, like that's the core. Like, how are you gonna build solid relationships with each other? Like, it has to be the core of who you are and not who you present. But how do you get to that? I mean, I'm giving that question y'all because I don't know.
I don't know.
I
I
understand
think you
that.
have to adapt at some point.
I would like to hear argument from a different gender, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, ladies, what do y'all think about that?
I got y'all here for a second.
Hey, you chose to sit close to the
Yeah,
mic, so you
yeah.
no one told you to sit right
Somebody, you came up with
You right
Whoa,
there.
whoa.
It's like
Oh, sorry.
Whoa.
Would you like the same thing in the back?
She's stretching.
You got another one?
Oh, I didn't even see you. When you come out?
Attacking me. 57 girls up in here.
57 girls. I'm a man.
That's the question.
So I guess it was the foundation.
We want to hear what
What was
the
your question?
sisters think.
Yeah. So how do y'all? How do y'all develop your relationship? So if y'all meet somebody, like how do you? Do y'all even date?
Hey, look, I respect the
I'm
honesty.
married. Let me tell you how he dates. But so who dates in here? Who dates? Who's ever gone on a date? So two guys.
Yeah, I'm on a date. You can get on a date.
I do.
Get on a date.
So Jordan, so how do y'all go about like
going on a date.
if you see somebody and you like them? Like, so what is that? How do y'all? Because back when I was,
Oh, I go first.
I'd be like,
You know that be running up in the DMs.
So here's my surefire way of the first date. If you take her out
Oh, I
to
need
eat,
to hear
you've
this.
lost. If she's not 30, you take her out to eat, you've lost. Don't take her out to eat. You gotta be, that's like 30 and up. Don't do that. The first thing you want to see them in there. Like,
Hey, peace out. Let us say his part. Let us say his part.
like you can, like you can do that, but I hope you got something in the after. Like, I feel like when I, from experience, that first date, I feel like I want to see them. I want to see how they act like in public. Like, do something fun. Like, we went bowling. I like bowling. I Okay, so me and Faith went bowling.
So that's your
My girlfriend, yeah.
Bring it out.
So
He got to make it explicit, yeah.
He coming out, so
Pop out, cuz, pop out.
it's okay, bro. Blossom.
Listen, I just want to hear from a female because everyone knows, right? Like, there's way more females essential than males, right? So what is it like for you all? Because there's like a ton of options for men because there's like just ratio. But like it's an 8-to-2 ratio. So what do you all think as far as like 16?
Yeah, but I kind of
16. Damn, I got 16 with me.
Is it really?
Boy.
Anyway.
You talking about that? Be holy.
No,
Peace out.
we don't let the girls, since we've been holding a conversation, we let the girls one by one talk about like what is their experience, because
Can I move?
it has to be right. It has to be different for them,
You don't
right?
have the freedom to like just go around and date anybody because you might just run into the same person. Okay, I be in biology class and there are like 3 guys
Choose y'all words,
and there be 30 students. I'm just like,
So for all the ladies in the room, can we get y'all's feedback on this question, please?
Can you ask the question again?
So how do y'all go about dating? Let's make it a little more specific. How do you go about dating here at North Carolina Central University? Especially with our ratio that my man highlighted. So it ain't, as Dr. Heath says, ain't too many of us to go around. So how do y'all deal with that?
I got lucky because I wasn't finished with none of y'all.
They go to Duke. That's how they go.
She said, what? Y'all go to Duke?
y'all find
Y'all be getting away?
It's a joke, man.
Okay, so they say she
You
won't
can't
fun
African
with
with
us.
all.
What do you mean by that?
I don't know. It's just the stigma of like college dudes in your mindset, and
Y'all. Don't put me in that.
I'm saying the stigma includes all of y'all.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
Nah,
it's putting y'all
speak.
putting y'all in a category as like y'all. They'll say, oh, you might find your husband in college, but you gotta also play into the fact that it is more girls here than boys. So somebody you know to talk to that boy already. So then you gotta also play into part that you got this girlfriend that done talk to this boy already, and she already got views of how this boy is, and it's not the best. And then this boy a hoe, and this boy maybe on the down low, and it's just you gotta like it's hard.
Yeah, bro, that's
Would you say like to a certain extent, like if you go to your homegirl or somebody and ask them like how that boy is and stuff like that, of course like hopefully he's not doing nothing too extreme, but they might have had a different experience with him because he felt a different way about that, about that person. Like hopefully he didn't disrespect her and nothing like that. But I'm talking when it comes to like just how they interacted with each other. Like did they go on dates? Like how they first met and stuff like that. Do you feel like that plays a big part?
It does, and also like if your homegirl didn't already talk to them, you gotta talk to them anyway. So, but
So, alright. One of my other ladies, y'all want to add some comments in? Are y'all agreeing with her?
Me personally, I haven't dated like here yet. I'm a freshman, so I really don't know.
You got some time here.
So I have another question for you. So as far as like, how would you like a guy to approach you as far as like them wanting to talk to you, them wanting a potential relationship with you?
Nah, how are you?
Go ahead, Caleb. Yeah. You got this, girl.
all right.
How would you like a guy to approach you?
Hello, my name is.
Like
Y'all say that, but it's definitely
It's
not
like
like
guys
that.
not- it's like
They half of them say that, then they're like, man, that's corny.
But it's like guys need to know certain stuff.
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna know how to approach women or what to do when it comes to, because some people aren't raised the same as others, and some people don't have that person to teach them how to do that. So it comes from a female, a female perspective in order for them to actually know the things to do, or they won't know. And they'll just continue doing that, and over time they'll finally get to the point where they know how to do it. But at that point, it's too late.
See, I feel like it shouldn't be no like script to it, no handbook. It's just how you approach them. It's gonna be different every time. So it's not something you keep in your back pocket. Be like, all right, this is what I'm gonna say to her, like off the script. Like, it's not like that. You just gotta approach it differently. It's just different situations.
Yeah, what you saying like that? Because that's how I am. I just wing it. I've never
I'm saying,
had it in my head.
Like, it's no
I
direct
really
way to
just be
say a
winging
certain
it.
thing.
I wing it, but the first thing you gotta do is everyone try to of course you want to make the girl feel special, but not just approaching her, just really treat her like she's a person. I'll be like, hello, my name is Bobby Sims.
My name is.
What's yours?
Your
What do you
name-
like?
you can say the thing.
And then you put a little bit of finesse on it.
Bobby Sam.
What's Alejandro?
Half of the
It sounds like an
family.
acting thing. You said Bobby Sam, like. Now you said Bobby.
So when it comes to going to, I was gonna say when it comes to sliding in someone's DMs or whatever like that.
Oh,
I feel
no,
like
that's
it's-
pushing him.
I feel like it's better, but this is my opinion. I feel like it's better to actually approach the person and actually talk to them. But I feel like a lot of people get away from that, so they just do it on social media. And social media, like he said, social media is not your true self most of the time. You want to be perfect all the time, but that's what you're gonna show on social media. It's rare that you show social media the bad things. So I feel like a lot of people need to get back to you need to actually communicate with people in person and just do it just that way.
And that's the thing too.
I feel like that's the reason why a lot of relationships don't last now on social media, because you got 3 people in a relationship. You got your girl, you however it's your girl, man, and you got social media because you always gonna have other people's inputs, or you're gonna try to compare in a sense to other people's relationships too.
I think
when it's not built, my bad.
You can go.
And when it's not equivalent to what you expect it to be, or what you see on YouTube, like Dear and Ken type stuff, whatever you watch on YouTube, you're gonna be disappointed and you're gonna be like, damn, why my relationship not like this? And you comparing it, it's gonna make it go south. So.
That's true. And I mean, like a lot of us wasn't raised in 2-parent homes, so when it's like life experience, we haven't seen a healthy relationship. And sometimes if they are in 2-parent homes, it's probably a toxic relationship. So this is what you see and this is what your experience is.
Okay, I'll say to me, because my parents, I've seen them.
That's you.
I know, but I mean, like you said, a lot of them, but I mean, you can't say that 2-parent households is toxic, man. You can't.
But it is.
I don't think a lot of them is toxic.
You said 2-parent household is toxic.
Our generation won't be as toxic.
I don't really
Listen.
Peace out. We'll go right here, and we'll go Malcolm, and we'll go July. And
My
Jordan.
parents, man, they was married for they've been married for 22 years, okay? And I mean, do they have their arguments, disagreements? Yeah, I mean, that's people, right? But in terms of toxic, I mean, they sit down, they will talk to each other, things like that. They like to cook with each other. They like to, do things together. They act like people. They like to do things together to, make themselves better. I don't think you can say, I don't think it's, like, because you said it's the culture. I don't think that's really the culture. That's just them. You understand? Because most African households, their parents don't be showing affection at all. Like, I know, dude, they say, I've never seen my parents kiss to this day. I don't know how my parents made me, because they don't be showing affection at all. But I mean, my parents, they just show love to each other all the time. So that's the thing. You understand? They just do things together that are interesting, that really don't involve like a whole lot of so-called touchy-feely romance. They just, bonding with each other and keep on doing that. Most people don't want to do that though. I don't know why.
I will say, depending on what household you're raised in, you can't really look at their relationship all the time. Whether it's 2-parent, whether it's 1-parent, just their relationship with their significant other, you can't look at their relationship all the time because you're different. You're not your parents. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, you have to have your own interaction. You got to go through your own. I don't want to say cliche or corny, but your own destiny, pretty much.
That's also where dating around can come in.
Yeah, if you don't go down your own road, you're not gonna know how to do it, which is experiences over time.
But at the same time, too, a lot of kids do is that they usually, mimic their parents at first because that's usually what they're growing up seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So
that ain't wrong and all this.
So that's the thing though. It's like what Devion said. Like there are 2-parent households where it is very toxic. There are 2-parent households where it's a lot of neglect, abuse, or just just a lot of yelling and arguing constantly. Like every two-parent household isn't peachy keen. You know, like they have problems they're working through. Like no, it is horrible. Like leave that situation, but they're tied to it.
Like I can use my own personal experience. Like when I was younger, I had a two-parent household, but it was my stepfather, and that relationship was a lot of toxic. And seeing that,
A little lot. Yeah.
it just, I don't know. When I think back to it, I look at it and see how I don't want to treat my woman, or how I don't want to treat women. And I wasn't saying that a lot of people, two-parent households are toxic or whatnot, but some people have that experience, and that's what they know. And now in this day and age of YouTube and social media, what they can see and look at now is what they see other relationship couples. And all they see is what's behind the screen. And so that's their experience, and that's all they know. They don't have that really raw experience of relationships, so that's what they grew up with.
Yeah, they yeah.
Jordan had a point.
Now I feel like it's important though when it comes to like the household. 'Cause I know my ex, her mother, she divorced twice, and like you gotta look at that too, and that kind of played a factor in our relationship because she already had a depiction of what guys are like she kind of put us all in a box. I mean, not everybody's inside that box. Some people are on the outside, but I feel like you do gotta look at that, you know, going to a relationship too, because that does play.
But I definitely agree though. Like we learn a lot from our parents when it comes to dating and stuff like that. Cause I know, I think another issue is like, especially in our community, we have kids at a very early age and things like that. So I think like at 19, 18, 17 years old, how can you really think, you know, I'm gonna raise a child with this person who I'm not even so sure I'm all the way in love with yet, but we got a child together. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that don't put yourself in the best place to help raise a child. So you're not giving them the best example. Then you know that cycle starts repeating. They start doing the same things you do, and then you get put in that same cycle.
Yeah.
I would say like a lot of older people, they had kids at a young age. Like a lot of people they were 17, 16, had kids at a younger age. But from my like perspective, I'm raising a two-parent household, and their relationship, like my parents, they've been married for 30 plus years. And I rarely see them argue. If it is an argument, then it's like I rarely see it. But like, you know, not everybody's into that. You know, I just didn't take what I saw in them. Like, of course, I listened to their advice and everything else. But I still look at other body's experience and just know that everybody's different when it comes to it. And just because you're under the same roof don't mean it's gonna be a healthy relationship. It's just like, are they really is it really a relationship, a good relationship, even though they're under the same roof? But it's like those are the things that you gotta take. You know.
So I'm gonna
I had a question. I was gonna move in. So what constitutes a good relationship?
Are both y'all happy?
Honoring priorities.
Emotionally, physically, anything?
I'm saying, like in this day and age, a lot of people they say a good relationship is, hey, you pay my bills, I got this, I got that, I'm good. But some people actually, like some people, let's be honest, some people are together not just for happiness. They just
It's a contractual agreement.
yeah.
When you
stuff
say
like
pay
that.
my bill, you talking about like dating, right? You talking about marriage?
No,
What?
like let's be honest. Like a lot of people, they be like, okay,
Let's be honest, Twitter.
yeah.
Let's be honest.
They be out there like, oh, pay my bills, da, 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Because they offering. So like Floyd Mayweather, all the women, right? Like let's say hypothetically.
Oh,
They don't.
I'm asking, like, you talking about marriage or dating?
No, like
Both.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in a relationship, bro.
I mean,
Relationships can
People front on Twitter, like when they say pay my bills and like I want the best things and everything else, you don't know what they go through during that time when they're not tweeting or just on Instagram. There could be a lot of communication and a lot of just, you know, they could get along with each other all the time, or there can be a lot of toxic traits too as well. But they, you know, they're gonna say stuff that they want people to see just because they're trying to, like, they have fans, they have supporters, so they have to say certain things in order to keep that feed, keep those supporters, keep those fans. So you can't really look at social media a lot of times when it comes to those certain things.
Yeah, piggybacking off to that, clout is one hell of a thing. Like people will, there's literally people who will say things and then go back and do it behind closed doors. Like, I hate men, niggas are trash, and then all on Twitter, and that's what they see. That's who their followers are. They got their little echo chamber, and that's what's going back. But in real life, they post a picture, they got a man standing right next to them. Sometimes you have to distance yourself from social media and what other people are saying. Like Snapchat, Twitter, Facebook, all that. You got to distance yourself because you have to see what reality truly is.
Does the music mirror that? Because like you might have a Meg or Cardi B, and they have like relationships, but their music may mirror something else.
And personally, that's one thing I don't understand. I do not understand celebrity idolization at all. I don't understand standing. I don't understand following up on updates every 24 that's something that doesn't really understand because they don't know you from a can of paint. But you know who they with, what's the last thing they done, what they eating for lunch, who they've been talking to for the past 2 months. Like, they're just feeding you entertainment so they get money. They don't care about nothing you're doing. They don't care at all. They have what they want. They have what they need, and you're giving it to them for nothing.
So what do y'all think about the De'Aaron and Ken like?
Hold on, I'm about to go off that. For the girls' standpoint, why when all that went down, were girls on Twitter talking about, now I don't want to be in a relationship if De'Aaron and Ken about to break up? Like, why is that so important? to you?
But people don't think for themselves.
I was gonna say for people that
Who was
don't.
there?
You know, let me get some context. Let me get some
Okay,
context.
who was that?
Okay. So De'Aaron and Ken are a YouTube couple. They do like vlogs and stuff like that. They're, I guess, influenced on social media and things like that. So they have
black
people,
couple?
yeah, they're black
Yes.
couple. So that's why, especially like on Black Twitter, they're hyperbolized being like the ideal black couple. Like they've been together for a long time, got all this, I guess, wealth and things together and things like that. So I guess was it like last month, couple months ago?
It was like 3 months ago.
Yeah, Ken was caught with another woman per se in a public area, rubbing on her butt, doing this, touching her a certain way, things like that. And then everybody on Black Twitter, whatever, saying, "Oh, he cheating on her, doing this, doing that. Now I don't even want to be in a relationship because if they're the ideal couple, can you be faithful together? What's the hope for me?"
Like, for real.
That's
Like,
all a cap, bro. Like, come on. When they in that relationship thing, bro, right? They making money. All them YouTube
God.
subscribers, sponsors, they making money. They probably not. You'd be surprised. They probably don't really care about each other. They just in it for
But
the
they
money.
still together. They gotta get
They
married.
in it for the money, bro. Number two, how come you with two people, you basing your life off two people who you don't even know, you haven't even talked to. You just see the whole image on the screen.
And
Like,
just
they not even, to be real, I would rather talk to like a grandmother who's been married for so long, who's like really in love with their person, than somebody on the screen who's making money off of
Okay,
it.
so we'll go Malcolm. Got to then
And that goes back to like you can't look at everybody's relationship. So if you like people don't have the ideal relationship to look at. So of course they'll look at De'Aaron and Ken and be like, oh, I want my relationship to meet this because it seems like there's no problems, no issues, and everything else. So that's why people feel strongly about it. Like, oh, I don't want to, I can't even get in a relationship no more because De'Aaron and Ken they done went at it. They done cheat on each other. So it's like, well, he cheated on her. So when it comes down to it, that's the only person they have to look at when it comes to a healthy, good relationship. So that's over with.
To me,
So I don't know.
man, if you don't make me laugh a little bit, I'm not gonna mess with you, bro.
You gotta make me laugh, man. You know, like
I feel like though
Entertainment.
it's two type of machine. You got, like I feel like my age bracket, we had a community machine. We looked at the community, seeing what we seen around us, our family. Y'all generation has a commercial machine. Like that machine, it pushes like the narrative of what goes on, the dating, what color you need to wear, a challenge come out, they push it, and it's not your fault. It's just here, right? And so with them, most people see them making money, they in love, you sitting. That's you a lonely man, a dude, you watching YouTube like, man, they so in love. They start making you feel some way. Like, I ain't got no, my relationship ain't like that. But it's just a social machine, right? But they pushing it, and I feel like though, for us. As a society, do we have low self-esteem when we start feeding into other relationships and we upset because they didn't make it, like, but we can't even touch them. Like, I don't even know where they from.
Yeah.
But they coming to my household making me feel bad. So
And it's weird because people would see a person just like that YouTube couple in real life would be like, oh, that's weird. Why y'all so young doing all this? But like, you just watch the same type of people that we are on YouTube and you all for it. So you see it in real life, I say I love you, my girlfriend. Ugh.
they got 1 million followers.
What about ever said?
For show of hands, whose mom and dads are together in the
Oh,
house?
nah, they
Still
been,
together.
they been stopped. That's been
So 3.
Wow, 3 out of
Four.
3 out of how many people we got in there? Well, I say my grandparents. That's who
Like, I
raised
felt
me.
like
and then my grandparents, they were together.
That's who raised me. So I'll say, but 4 out of
Like 15
I've been together for how long? Like,
my,
oh,
yeah,
oh, they're not, definitely not.
4 out of 18.
4 out of 18.
So how does those things then relate into like expectations of relationships? Because if you don't have an example growing up, then do you really want to be married, or is it something that?
I'm gonna ask this for the ladies.
Oh, what's next?
Oh, go ahead.
But it really
that
touches
question
on
right. I wanted that one.
on the whole self-esteem point that you pulled out. Like, yeah, like when it comes to an absence of any sense of authenticity, when it comes to, okay, like there's a relationship right there. Like my parents been divorced since I was like 10, 11, a whole lot of going to the court. It's very embarrassing. When a lot of like your peers and whatnot, their parents still together, they grow up in their homes, it's all together. It all connects because it's like it paints this picture, and that's why we really need a picture, something to like basically base off like reality off of, and then it's just like we live in this generation where we have all these images of what you should look like, how you should dress, and all this sort of stuff, and it's just you try to aspire for that, and for you to not aspire for that, it really damages your sense of like not just awareness and reality, but your sense of self too. So it's like, you know, back to that Ken situation. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's annoying when people say like, oh yeah, you did this, I ain't even gonna get in no relationship, and then it's just like, it's dumb, but it's realistic. That's just how the generation
I think
is.
he's just funny. That's
Yeah.
why I think he's just funny. Some of the stuff he's saying shouldn't be funny, but the way he says it is just funny.
I don't believe in love no more.
No, like when he's like so disappointed. I should have been mad.
At least you got a bad grade or something.
Like, it was sad.
So I want y'all to answer this question that Mr. Andrews brought up, because I think it's a lot. Like, I was raised with my grandparents, but my mom and dad, they got together young. Like, my dad was 18. I think my mom was like 21. But back then, you know, that was different. They met at a chicken plant, and they never. I got a sister who's a doorstep. Like, my daddy was just out here popping kids off, right? So I ain't see. It's a lot of that out here, but it's my dang. You see, it's 4 out of 18. Like, everybody ain't
Really
together.
I mean, my great grandpa had 4 wives.
So what was your question again?
So like there's the
Great
lack
grandpa
of
multiple wives.
hold on. So there's a lack of relationships that you experienced growing up. Does that impact your view of relationships in a marriage? And then too, like, so like, what do you expect? Because it's like if you, for instance, if you say you want to be married and you say you want to be in a relationship, I'll take it back. If you say you want to go play football, right? Before you do that, you're gonna talk to somebody who plays football. You're gonna train. You're gonna study, right? The plays before you get out there. You're not just gonna go on the field. I'm ready. Why do we not treat relationships with the same type of seriousness? Because people say I want to be in a relationship. They want to say I want to be married. You don't know anybody that's married. You never talk to anybody that's married. You haven't dealt with your trauma of being raised in a home. And so what happens is two broken people come together and you have two broken pieces. And then you wonder why you can't do conflict resolution. You wonder why y'all can't come to terms with stuff. It's because you have not prepared for that thing. And even down to boyfriend and girlfriend, you say, well, I want a boyfriend, I want a girlfriend, I want to be in a relationship, but you have never
Looking, but if it happens, look at it.
Yeah, I'm not going to, but, yeah.
Are you looking, or do you expect that?
Do you expect it?
Faye?
Talking to you, Faye.
Oh.
Right.
Done.
I wasn't.
You wasn't?
No.
You didn't have no expectations?
Not really, no. I mean, before I got to college, because they say, oh, you're going to find your forever friends in college, you're going to find your husband in college, oh my God. But when I got here, I was like, oh,
I think it's early stages. Like, the early stages, you're going to have them triumphs, but as you keep going, what are you now? Classification. Sophomore, you got 2 more years. You're going to get older and mature and move on. You're going to find it. I'm not talking about people and friends. Your circle's going to change, and you'll find that solid group, in my opinion. So, I'm going to get her to you.
Yeah, like she said before, yeah, it was cute. Then I got here, and then I ain't looking too good. I don't know.
Was it because, let me ask you this question, is it because y'all started going, having conversations with the same type of dudes that you always dealt with? You know, everybody got their own flavor, right? So, you know, say for me.
You gotta know his flavor.
When I got... So, okay, for me, right, when I first got to college, I love... I used to date women that come from broken homes, too, because we were just bad for each other, but they had good in them. And I realized 2 broken people, like you said, can't be together. So I never was in a serious relationship because I kept getting with the same type of woman that remind me of the things I come from. So when I say you keep dating the same type of people, everybody got their own flavor, right?
Wait, can I ask a question before you say that? Did you keep dating? You said you kept dating broken women, but did you feel like a little bit of it was because they understood?
They knew we both came from the same pain, so we kind of knew. But we fed off each other. But when we bump heads because both of those pains collided. And so sometimes you can be in college dating the same type of. Or they say you ever heard a thing like dating your mom or dating your daddy? The same. You can be doing that. Like, you get what I'm saying? That happens. So.
You got a question now.
Oh yeah. I didn't really have a question. I kind of had a comment or like, okay, so like I know I touched on authenticity and everything and like stuff on what did Mr. Andrews say? He said something about what were you saying? I'm trying to.
I said a lot, brother.
So anyway, no, I got it, because it's like, okay, like, I feel like when it comes back to that speak on, like, authenticity and so on, I feel like end goals kind of reflect relationships, too, because, like, if both people were really, like, real of what they really wanted in the end, you know, maybe then it would, like, last longer. Some people, one half, it's just, like, yeah, it's just gratification.
You know at 18, 19 what your end goal is. You can have some ideas.
You have an idea.
No, you did. It's no way.
You know, but you don't know. You don't change a couple times.
You know, but you don't know how you're gonna get there and what path you're gonna take to get there. But you know what you want right now.
As long as you got an end goal.
Some people know.
But even still, as you age and grow, I feel like your end goal changes.
Yeah, it really does.
It continues to change. Like even when I'm 40, it might change all of a sudden. Because
now, if you stay in the same rut, it ain't gonna ever change. You're gonna see some people when you graduate, they might get out of college, but they're gonna be that same joker when they come back home. Come like, that dude ain't changed.
And still talk to us. And in a generation where it's like where like a lot of our priorities is kind of based on gratification. Trends like they change so quick. Like remember when everybody was on like Kick and everything, and then it went to like this thing, and then Snapchat. Nobody touches Snapchat no more unless they're trying to do something. I don't know what you're trying to do on Snapchat.
Damian just posted filter pics.
Oh, okay. We ain't gotta.
That's crazy. You like turn yourself into a banana.
You a dangerous friend, bro.
Peace out.
What do you say? I was gonna say
what?
You know, that he's, you know, he was saying how he dated the same type of, you know, female and everything else. I know when it came to me dating, it seemed like every girl I dated had such like a problem with her father or had a stepdad in the play and everything else. So it's just like I kept finding that one person, but I was thinking like, dang, that's for me as a male. I was like, okay, I can't be another person in her life to just like, you know, let her down or just like not be there for her and everything else. I mean, I made sure every relationship I ended on, you know, a good note, even though it didn't work out. But when it comes to that, I'm just saying, like, you have to, like he said, you have to fix how you act, or you're gonna find the same person, attract the same person. And you can't be that same person that say, okay, I want to be in a relationship, but you know deep down inside you don't really want to be in a relationship with her. You just in it for a quick fix, or you just in it for just because you can't be alone, you know, with yourself. So when it comes down to it, you have to change how you are over time for you to find that right person that's right for you. It takes time to find that person for you to be right for her and for her to be right for you.
Yeah.
And guys, one of the things when y'all get together, whoever you talk to and y'all ask about, like you asking general questions and getting to know, understand where they come from. And so for instance, like if I meet someone, I date a woman and she says that my dad was not in my life, I know that I have to take extra patience with her. I know that she may not understand the subtleties of being in a healthy relationship, and so I can't penalize her for not knowing certain things. And I think that's where the rub comes when you might have a more stable background and you like, why don't you know how to do this? And she just doesn't know. You know, and so but those things are cemented in her, and so she has to have the patience to understand that she doesn't know, and you have to have the patience too, and y'all have to talk about it, and you have to have your expectations known. Like, when I come home, if I am thirsty, it is customary for you to anticipate that I need to drink a water. I shouldn't have to ask you that. And so if you grew up seeing that, like when I grew up in a home, my dad would come in from the house cutting grass, and my mom would immediately fix him something to drink. He never had to ask her because she anticipated his needs. I look for the same thing. But I know that if a woman grew up and didn't see that, she'd be like, well, if you're hot, the refrigerator's right there.
You said, what, you gonna get hot water?
No, what he's saying is, that's one of his love languages.
Yeah, my love language is physical.
So yeah, you gotta
but I
know
want
love
to talk about
language.
what you said earlier before we get deeper in this part about like the whole marrying your mom and your dad. I thought about this a while ago, and everyone thinks it's like personally, like, oh, I don't want to marry my mom, but when you think about it, it's a concept. Your mom is supposed to be someone who cares for you, loves for you, and provides for you. Same thing for your father. Your father's supposed to be a strong man, supposed to provide for you and all that. You're not looking for your actual mother and somebody, but you're looking for someone who cares for you, provides for you.
It depends on your relationship with your parents. You
realize
can have a
that.
toxic relationship.
Yeah, but you can still find a woman that treats, like, provides for you the same thing a mother would for her child. You don't have to have the perfect relationship. That's why I also think it's who you idolize. You gotta idolize the right people. Like Mr. Heath, he didn't idolize his parents, but he idolized his grandparents.
They've been married 65 years.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
But what I'm saying with that, even if you had, say, you had bad parents that wasn't involved in your life, you got to find somebody. So I looked up to the next thing, right? But on that way, I probably dated women that had some qualities of my mom that weren't good, because that's still my mom, right? And I still picked up and learned from her. So I realized, like, nah, that ain't good for me. My grandmother showed me the way. Like my grandfather got home from work, we didn't eat. He worked late at night. We eat at 7:30 sometime. We're like, damn, can we get in the pot? She said, no, your grandpa not home. And we didn't eat, And so now I told my wife that's what I like. That's my love language. Just wait, sit down with my family. Yeah, she do it.
Oh, that's not.
But I'm saying the same with her. Find your mate love language, and you won't have no.
That's what a lot of people get in a relationship don't know what their love language or how to act to other people's love language. Like with the communication thing, that's my girlfriend's love language is through communication. My love language is through physical stuff, like doing stuff for her, getting stuff for her. That's why it's hard for me to communicate over the phone because I can't use my love language. She can text me these long paragraphs and I can't reciprocate it because my reciprocation would be either physical touch or me going to do something for her. And then it's also vice versa. I like getting my girlfriend stuff. Like for her birthday, I'm getting her edible arrangements because I can't be there. But people like, oh, does she get you stuff? And it's like, no.
But did you
that's
see
not
your
my
dad
love
do that for your mom?
Yeah.
See, you learned that.
I mean, for me, it's food. Like, my mom was always cooking for my dad and stuff like that. My dad was always cooking for my mom, so, like, I didn't like food, really. Like, you cook for me.
Everyone likes food.
That's a rap, though.
We got one right here.
It's a question, but he can go.
Go ahead.
Alright, I was just gonna say, like, okay, so there are a lot of people who say that you should forgive your spouse or the other person in your relationship for some of the shortcomings, right?
Yeah.
But I have a question as to where you draw the line, because there are certain things that you should forgive. Some people cannot just meet the standards that you have. Obviously, you have different standards. But, like, there are certain things that you, like you said, the water thing. I feel like for some people that means a lot more, and for some people it doesn't really, they don't really care. But what is that? What type of threshold do you draw the line at, where somebody is just like making the same mistakes, or they keep disrespecting your priorities, or the things that you care about, and where do you draw the line as far as what is acceptable for them and their showing of love to you?
You can't set expectations. Like, if you know that you say, look, if her response to conflict is to degrade you, to go below the belt, like that's why you just like your dad. Like, if her thing is like, I'm gonna murder this dude every time we have a simple argument. The first time, like, look, I told you who you talk to. You tell her a couple times, and then after that, you're like, we just can't even. You disrupted my peace. But you make those things known. You tell her like, this is what I expect, and I'm telling you, I'm not taking much more.
Yeah,
and you stay and you talk to her.
It's consistency. I draw the line at the beginning. You don't do it halfway through.
Yeah. Think about that. You do set standards beforehand, but it's not only setting standards; it's committing to them. Because that's the thing. You can set standards and say, "Hey, I don't want to be disrespected." Da 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 da. They still disrespect you. Like, look, I don't want to be disrespected. Da 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 da. Then they do it again.
Well, also keep in mind, but like you all just said, people have room to change and that they can, and it's very possible.
No, that's very true.
So
but I'm saying like when you make it known and like you explicitly state that I don't want this to happen, and it continually happens without any disregard or like without any actual sign of change or them attempting to change, then that's when you need to cut it off. Yeah. Because I know I've been in a relationship like that where it's like it was very toxic. There's a lot of things that I shouldn't have had to deal with, and I still dealt with it because I'm like, okay, this person been through some stuff. Allow me to, be there for them to help them through it. But then, after a while, it just did more to drain me as opposed to actually help them.
It start making you sick. Like,
so I got a question though.
Yeah.
How do y'all feel about the saying like, you don't want to be with a broken individual? Understand? Like sometimes dudes say I don't want a broken woman. Girls say I don't want a broken man. Like, how y'all feel about that?
I mean, we're all flawed, man. You gotta keep that in mind.
I think it's daggone impossible.
Nobody perfect.
Yeah. It's levels of brokenness, though. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has flaws.
I think, like Ms. Troy said, this generation, I don't think it's just this generation. I think back then people hid it better.
Yeah.
Like now, mental health and people's struggles are so upfront and out there, and how people are, that you get what you see pretty much. And back then, a lot of people didn't have that choice. Like, it wasn't. We didn't have this much information about depression or different sorts of things about how people felt, and so what we're here. They hid it. They didn't because they didn't know. I'm not gonna say they hid it. Maybe they was ignorant towards it.
And it all reflects technology too, man, because it's just like we'll have all this information in hand about the next who's like single and who's this and who's that, and seeing everybody's relationship, like it's like a list, you know, everyone just turns into options instead of investments, basically. Like nobody really sees each other as themselves. It's always just a front, like every time in a profile. It's never who they are, basically. That's why I got off there.
So I got a question. So we talked about the 4 out of 18. And everybody, the 4 out of 18, you don't have to raise your hand. You don't want to respond, you don't have to. So out of the 4 out of 18, who has relationships, like good, healthy relationships with their mom and dad, even though they don't? No. How about your dad? Who has a good relationship with his dad?
My dad has.
It's getting better.
No, I'm talking about if your father wasn't around. He wasn't there.
I mean, if
If he wasn't around, do y'all have a, I mean, if they not together, do y'all still have a healthy relationship?
Oh, no.
I'm trying to get.
This is yes or no. Hold on. It's just a yes or no. So, Jalen, you say you do?
Mm-hmm.
So he's not in the house, but y'all have a healthy relationship?
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Hold on. Wait.
I said they're not in the house. They're not in the house.
So your
They're
parents aren't
separated.
together, but you have a
Which
healthy
one?
relationship.
Just the dad or the mom? and
No, go to the mom.
Okay,
No,
so-
to the dad first.
With my dad, it depends because I've been staying with my dad, right? But I used to stay with my mom, and I didn't know my dad until I was like 4 or 5 years old. That's a whole different situation.
Are y'all in a healthy relationship?
We're in like, he's like my best friend. I don't tell him everything, but I live with my mom. But I can talk to him. He's easier to talk to because he's like a reflection. Like I'm a reflection of him. Like I have the same a little bit of his personality.
So how about the mom? Who in a healthy relationship with their mom? Most everybody, the mama, the one.
A little for the boys.
So when we talk about relationships, do y'all feel like dads are the nucleus to this for people growing up and being successful and having good relationships?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, not taking that away from the mom, but I'm saying you see your dad and they go have another family. I seen my dad have another family and raise other kids and wasn't even here. So you look like, dang, bro. What about me? So how do y'all? So do y'all feel like dads play a big part in that? As men, we talking about men in relationships.
Big time.
Let's go around, Jaden. You got
So I'll say this. So as I got older, like after I got 18, me and my dad really talked a lot about like what happened with him and my mom when we were growing up and stuff like that. And I understood like he just at that time wasn't ready to make that commitment with my mom at that age. So that's why, you know, they were together for like a couple years after, you know, I was born and stuff like that. But they could never just get everything right because he was just too immature. He had to do a lot of maturing himself and my mama too. But we always just talk about it. So he'll tell me a lot of things like he did wrong growing up to that age. So it gave me a lot of knowledge about things not to do. So like how I'm dating now, like, you know, before I had kids, to go ahead and make sure, you know, I'm really committed to this person and I'm in a position I can take care of my kids, whether I'm with or without that person. So, you know, really just give me knowledge of not making the same mistakes that he did.
Even in a healthy relationship, you can still do that. Even with me, I have a mom and dad that I have a pretty healthy relationship, but even I knew I'm not about to do anything if I'm not really committed to this person, knowing I can see a future with this person. It's just, to me, why would you do something if you weren't
I think you've
prepared
seen it
for
for
that?
like 18 years. Think about it. Every day you seen daddy come home, see mama love up and down.
But I've also seen the downs.
Okay, but you seen the healthy. You see them come out of the down. Some people seen them leave and never come back. I'm gonna go ahead and come around. Go ahead, July.
So I want to say two things. One, there's also the thing of where you see in the household you actually resent it so much you actually do the opposite of it.
I've done that.
Yeah, and until I believe that it's like when it comes to the mother and father, I think like it's like the mom is like the shield internally while the dad is like the shield for the outside, like externally. It's like it's pretty much like the mom builds you like from the inside while the father shows you how to be out in the world.
Gotcha. That's good.
Carry yourself.
Yeah. Go ahead, man. You good.
Well, maybe like, I mean, my dad was hard on me from like day one. I mean, he was always hard on me, you know, African dad and all that. But I mean, when I started getting to high school, I kind of appreciated it because I saw that what he wanted was really just investment in everything. And I mean, I used to be a little attached to my mom, but I had to get off that because, I mean, for me, sometimes I think as men, we get too attached to our moms, you understand? We don't get like that strong male figure. So as I got older, you know, I became more attached to my dad now because, you know, he's the man. He's supposed to be the example to me. So a lot of times I just try to imitate what he does and how he treats my mom and things like that because he's always treating her with the utmost respect. But I think the lack of black male presence in a lot of households as a father, it plays a big role. Because, like, sometimes, some women, they're going to have a feeling about a dude just because his father probably wasn't there. Or the dude not going to know how to act because the daddy wasn't there. So, he acting like something that he acting like something that he just seen on TV because daddy was gone. So, I mean, I think with the lack of, if we don't get, like, the black father back in the household, it's going to get bad. Because it's already bad enough. I mean, only 4 out of 18, and then most of us didn't even have a good relationship with our dad, which is not good.
Tupac said years ago, have a racist
I
baby
think I
and
can
hate the
speak
labor.
on it.
That's kind of true,
Yeah, man, and it's just to piggyback off that. This is where I got from Roots and everything, because it's like remember when that descent Kunta Kinte. I don't know if everybody watched it, but anyway,
I feel like
I know you watched it. No, but it's like, as black men,
That was his biography.
as black men in this country, nobody like in this country the way we've been set like image wise and everything. I know they like to push like the most athletic and play good sports and so on. But we've been emasculated so much. Like so much has been taken away from us, like image wise. Like we're not in the houses no more. And this is why I talk about Kunta Kinte and everything. He had a wonderful relationship with his father, but they still had to set him out, to really what was that scene when they had to set him out to kind of go hunt and had to learn how to fight and everything?
Yeah, manhood
like,
training.
yeah. We don't have for our people. Well, that's what we're kind of missing a lot. It's like there's no initiation to like really know like what we are as men until we really have certain things. We're always reflecting on like how much money you got, how much clothes you got. Your value is so superficial. None of it's spiritual, and I feel like that's what the male role fills. And that's why the Men Achievement Center is so important. Places like that where you can really really not just let loose in a sense, but actually like instill in yourself some kind of like spiritual and like mental growth. Like they kind of take that away from us in the education system. Like they try to put me on medication as a kid just for being a kid and everything. Like it's just it's a warfare out here, and it all starts when they start emasculating the men and everything. And that's why in the Philippines, like there's a lot of trannies out there because it's just like they've been like emasculated. I'm just saying, like Joe Coy said
Like, should we be on this?
No,
Keep saying your
This
point.
conversation got to be on the
Keep
same
saying your point.
just
You
saying,
just went real fast, and I was great.
because Joe Coy pointed out, because like seriously, like when the emasculation is so bad, like you can see like where it can lead to like the country like breaking down. I'm not saying that's what we're gonna be headed, but if we're not ready, then
Malcolm next, and I got one.
Yeah.
Malcolm,
Black man going extinct if you don't control this.
I go after you before he.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like you should be looking for somebody to take that father role, or you think more men should take that father role if they see a lack in it? Because I'm being transparent with y'all. I come from like a rare situation. I'm blessed because I was adopted into a 2-parent household, and they both doing good for themselves. So, but my birth dad, never met him. I met my birth mom, and they're not together. But I never seen my birth dad. So it's like I still have questions arise from that, like who is he, how is he, and stuff like that. So you feel like it's important for men to step into a role so that that person or that child can grow into somebody that doesn't have those issues when it comes to not seeing a healthy relationship or just a healthy marriage and just overall.
I feel like
I never knew that. I never knew that about you. But I feel like all educated people, when y'all get out here in the world, my wife used to work for foster care. I used to see so many black kids come in and be white people used to have an adopt. I'm like, well, where the black families at? Like, you got this big 5-bedroom house. Bring one of these kids, these young ladies in your house if you already got a structured environment and adopt. So I hope to adopt in the next few years. I feel like so I want to have another child. So say I have another boy and my wife wants a daughter. We'll adopt a little girl and vice versa. But as you get older, think about that because there's a lot of black kids just in foster homes with nowhere to go. So I feel like as black men, if you see a single parent, a mom in your neighborhood, and you see she got 3 boys, you never see no daddy, I think the men in the neighborhood should knock on that door and say, we see you got some boys, come around, me and my son, we like to get to know y'all. and then take it, but we're not doing that as a community.
There's a risk.
So that's what.
There's a
It's
risk.
not
I mean,
a risk.
look, these pastors, they did that
Yeah,
stuff.
but
I know, but I mean, a
You
lot
know
of
there's pedophiles out there, but you got to. You
I'm
just
just
don't let you.
saying.
Oh, come on in, take them with you. No, you got to really vet the people. And all
It was
that.
such a good
I
moment.
mean,
It was such a
essentially,
good
though. It
moment.
really takes a
It
village.
was.
For
It
sure.
was
I know, like in our culture, my culture
Yeah.
specifically, like usually when there's a male role that's kind of absent for like our cousins or our nephews, and then that's when usually the older folks like I know like my sister has a son. He's 12 now. Yeah, he's about 12, and it's like keep in mind it's just like my sister's way older than me and everything. When this kid was born, I was like still a kid too. Like I was like 10 and everything. But either way, like I still try to fill in that role when he was reaching that age. Because, like, at the time, there was nobody there for him. His father, I don't want to say abandoned him, per se, but he wasn't there. He wasn't there. So me and my brother stepped in. So sometime for the summer, they send him to us, and we just kind of overlook. Keep in mind, you know, like, I'm young, too. Like, I ain't got a house of my own. I ain't got nothing.
Most people
like
just want time. It ain't about
Just
the
time.
money.
Yeah.
So if you got a little cousin at home,
You just need that male presence there, you know, to give like
yeah,
a good
because
example.
when dude said he preferred Frozen over Lion King, I had to jump in.
Whoa!
Like, no.
It's on the way to go, man.
No way.
Whoa!
so Frozen.
And I'm sorry. That's why I gotta jump in.
Davion had something he
Oh,
wanted to
Davion,
say.
you want to say one thing before we wrap
went
up?
past the topic. It was
Go ahead.
just, it's far past the topic.
What was it?
I mean, he was talking about the father being the nucleus and having another family. Like, as a dad who had a whole nother family, I could attest to that because I stayed with my mom for the majority of my life. So, as being like his only outside child, it's like when I come over there, like when I was younger and I come over there, I see all these things my little brother, my little sister had when they growing up, and I didn't have none of that. Like when I see, my father, my stepmother. And they have this whole family bond. And sometimes I used to feel a lot of left out. Like they do certain things. I be in my corner. So it's like a different experience.
You felt like a stepchild.
Yeah, I really felt like a stepchild. Like I didn't belong here. And so now my dad, he used to work with children. He doesn't do that now, but like wayward children. And I in my mind at the moment I thought he did that because he felt guilty about me. So he picked up that career path, and he was helping wayward males, black males, get back on path when they was doing delinquent stuff with their friends. And I was like, I've never asked him personally. One day I will, probably not.
Well, he'll see this.
No, you need to ask him.
You need to ask him.
He'll see it.
This man waited until he stopped.
My nephew in the gang, and I be in here on y'all ass every day. Right? And my nephew in the full gang shootouts, and I be like, man, my own flesh and blood. And I'm like, well, I can get them to do. But so it's facts. You
Can't save
and it makes me. I know you can't, but still.
the
It's
Lord
still
said
we talk
only
about
one
saving
right.
kids.
It still hurts.
How
One
can
third
I
gonna make
invest
it.
in you when I can invest in my own?
That's what I'm saying. It still hurts
it
though,
still
because that's somebody
hurts.
that's close.
But that's where you come. That's where like ourself, Lord and Master. That's where that comes into that person. Like he gotta understand. He gotta make his own choices. Because you can lead a horse to water. They say,
But
you gotta make
everybody,
it drink.
look, everybody doesn't get that voice before it, like, you know.
He's young, man.
You gotta know.
You telling him.
You can hold that iron fist, nigga. That ain't reality.
I'm not saying iron fist. I'm saying if you don't want to change, that's on him.
Hey, bro, look, look at it like this.
Yeah, I know.
This Mac, this is lucky for us.
Yes.
It really is.
And this is on campus, and still only a small percentage of people know about the Mac. And that's just out of the campus. Picture out of the country. No one knows about us. No one has a circle like this. No one has this outlet. That's why Mr. Heath made this idea so people have the outlet. But until it's worldwide and until everyone has one, stuff's just not going to click for everyone.
Because at the same time, when I first came here, I was not part of this program. I had no idea where I was going, who I knew. I didn't know anybody here.
I ain't had no clue either. Who recommended you to come here?
What?
Oh, actually, my dad, because he's Dr. Heath's blind brother, so.
Yeah, I just met his dad.
David didn't.
So I wanted to that question. So, Jonathan, you're friendly, and Alejandro, what do y'all think about this space and being here? Like, what do y'all?
Okay, so, all right. I was gonna say first of all, like, I think it's really interesting how everyone always brings up how they're chasing their father, right? But then their mother is unconditional with their love, and I think that after I've been thinking about it for a really long time, my mom has been unconditional with love for me, and you know, I think about how she had to carry me for 9 months, but where was my dad? And so there's this connection, not only biologically but just emotionally, and I feel like that in itself is something to be honored. My mother, but then there's another component to that. It's just my father is just not as like present, and you know, I feel like there is something to be said about how black men are always chasing a father figure, and the neglect of having a father figure and then he not being there for you is substantial. It is incredibly impactful, and them always seeking to be a father figure for somebody is also very toxic. And the fact that they'll try to be there for a woman who doesn't have, you know, the same type of father or man influence, right? So I think that it's very interesting, me and my father's dynamic, because he is very like pro-black, he's very pro-fatherhood, pro-man, but then it's hypocritical because he doesn't do those things to me, right? He says he preaches and all this stuff, but then when I need him, he's not there. And it's interesting. I see other people have these fake father figures in school, like their coaches or a teacher, but then they're not going to be there for them through all of those, you know, trials and personal things. So then they develop these half-baked men. And so when you have programs like this, it helps because they're developing all of you, and they're discussing everything where somebody who was supposed to be there for you just wasn't. So they're filling in some of the gaps and they're building you up. And so I think that it's the part in my life that I think is the most traumatic is just like me not being able to have my father help me with certain things that I definitely needed him for. And I know that I can get the help from my mother. She's unconditional love, right? Unconditional support. She's always going to be there. I don't want to seek love from somebody like my father, right? Because what is it? I mean, like, you're asking for somebody who helped in the synthesization of you for help. That just doesn't sit right with me, you know? That's why it means so much more when a father figure is in my life.
Yeah, I understand that because when I was younger,
that's what it is.
When I was younger, that was my main problem. I lived with my mom. I was surrounded by girls. I was only boy. Like neighbors, women.
Same.
Like it was like some strange island where I was the only dude for some apparent reason. So, and I really wanted a male figure, and that's probably why I gave my stepmother straight hell up until I was like mid-teens, because I felt like she stole my father from me. Like I should have had this, and I was jealous. And I probably haven't had a chance to apologize for that. One day I will. She might see this.
I'm writing. I just started writing this article. It's called "Waiting for Superman," and it's talking about black men and their dads, and every black man want that Superman, like that. You know that favorite superhero toy you had? Like you take that thing in the car with you to grandma's house. Like, but your dad's supposed to be a Superman. Like he's supposed to break down a brick wall. You think your dad can beat everybody, but he's not there. And you looking around. You know, moms got that unconditional love because they nurture. They have. Like he said, he hit on the head. But that breaks me in so bad. We don't have a father, man. That's something you can be. I know grown men at 50, 60 years old still hurt because their dad wasn't being around. So,
yeah, I mean,
So does that make y'all like? But does that make y'all like want to have like a? I mean, when you get an age, you know, does that make y'all like want to be in your child's life?
It can,
Because
no,
because there's a lot of dudes out there who say
that.
some of y'all like because like I mean because if you didn't have that father figure, so when you have this baby, you like
you don't
you drop it and you run out.
I'll tell you like this.
Here's how your brain go though.
Because at the same time,
I just want to say things like neglect can really like
it manifests.
It manifests into being nurturing. Like you really can't help that.
Because even to your point, right? Growing up, my father passed away when I was young, before I even met him. So if anything, growing up, my mind automatically autocorrected to it like, I am the man of the house. I gotta protect. I gotta be the one here for everybody, for everything. Yeah. That's always been my mentality since I was young. So if anything, without a father present, sometimes, like, well, in my situation at least, it made me like, no, like, oh, where's that? Like, no, I know dad is gone. I gotta be the man here. I have to be here for the house. I have to take care of my mom, my brother. They're my responsibility.
I had that similar thing, but a different
So
circumstance.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I want you to answer yes or no. Is that why you the way you are? So you're like this, you like this mysterious guy. Like when you go through stuff, you're holding in. You come and go like you please. And when you need, you're never gonna tell because you said, I learned earlier, I got to do for me. I got to get the job done.
Yeah, I got to do for my family.
Yeah. But with you now, we're gonna talk about it. This is not calling you out. Yeah. I watch how you move. You independent. You make sure July is good. Is that something you feel like when I having a dad growing up that you put this on like, I'm gonna make sure I'm good. I got to take care of myself.
Yeah, because he was there, I felt as though I had to make sure that everybody's good. Everybody that I love is good.
And I definitely
as long as they're good.
I never heard you say make sure July's
right,
good.
Yeah, I haven't heard that.
You said make sure everybody's good, but you never said make sure July's good.
You said to put people first.
Yeah, but that's something you get. Like everybody, when not having a dad, you grab your own way of dealing with him not being around. Like sometimes you say he'll protect of everybody.
I think I got a shortened version of yours, because I didn't know my dad until I was like a certain age, but he was in my life, but I only see him like on summers or some Christmases, so he wasn't like every day. I see him every day, and my mom pushed like, "You're the man of the house, you're the man of the house," and that's what I heard continuously. So, but I'm not an everybody person. I'm not making sure everybody good. I grab whoever's in my circle and I make sure they're good.
That's what I mean.
But that's not good though. Like, I mean, in a sense, I understand your mom told you the man of the house, right? But you a little boy. How you supposed to be the man of the house?
And I was a little boy then.
I'm gonna tell you, this is a woman who love you, so you gonna listen.
Like, when my dad would leave, right? He was going on a trip, right? He said, all right, you know, you the boy now, you the man here, you know, take care of your siblings, right? I knew what to do because I would just see what he would do.
Yeah,
I mean, if you live in a house without a dad, right, and your mom telling you be the man of the house, well, hell, what
but you don't have that choice when you're that age.
But you know it's not right, but we say it happens.
But at the same time, my mom never said you gotta be the man of the house. I put that on myself. That's my mentality. My mentality was, yo, I gotta be a man of the house. I gotta take care of my mom, my brothers, make sure they're good. If they're good, I'm straight.
Yeah.
That's my mentality.
I tell my son that now. When I go out of town, I say, when I leave this weekend, you make sure you take care of your mom. You're gonna hold it down while I'm going. I never tell him he's the man of the house. I said, you make sure everything goes, you make sure the door's locked, and I let him know that you're the man of the house without saying it while I'm gone. So,
yeah, but that's different though. Like,
but I'm just saying, like,
look, it's affirmation.
He see the way you talk to
moms do, because moms want a male figure there to be strong, and they don't want their boy to be in these streets and get lost up. So moms sometimes push you out there to that male role faster than they should, but it's not their fault. They don't want to see their son get lost in the trap. So they try to make you into this man faster, and that's a flaw that they pick up not by choice. It happens. When these men out of your household and your uncle's not doing their job, she's like, shit, I'm not gonna raise no. Prime example was Ray Charles. What was that movie with Jamie Foxx played? Ray. And he was blind. And his mama said something in that movie. Don't be a cripple. Mom, that's what moms are doing. They don't want you to be that cripple, and so they don't want their son to just get lost out. And a lot of sons are getting lost still, but they're trying their best. If these men leave, any man, if my best friend, we haven't talked in 10 years. You know why? He had an outside child, he didn't claim it. And I said, I can't be your friend if you got a child. I'll be wrong.
That's male code, right?
You know what I'm saying? That's a male code. And I miss him. We haven't talked in 10 years. But I can't. How can I be his friend? I came up with a single parent home and still cheer him on. Like, no, brother, you gotta don't stop the cycle. So men as us, we gotta do what we gotta do. And so until then, the ladies gonna keep making the mistakes of pushing these young boys out there because we not there.
But it all comes down though to make selection.
Also,
it goes back to earlier we talked about how you was raised and who you choose. It's a whole mixed bag of stuff we got.
You know, like peacocks, they have like a whole mating ritual. You know, they look for certain things before they mate. We gotta start doing that.
What?
I'm not saying you can clone. I'm not saying
you got 2 more minutes. I think
that
man got to go.
sense,
So
because my dad's a good man, but my dad had to do what he had to do to put money and food on the table.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But I know
I'm saying, hold on, this is what I'm talking about. My dad's a good man. My mom selected that man. But he had to do what he had to do to bring money in and to bring food on the table. So that means he was in the Navy, he was gone. And when he wasn't in the Navy, he was gone weeks at a time up in D.C. working. That's why I had to be the man of the house. Because he's not there during the week. I only got to see my dad during 2 days, like a day and a half on the weekend. Because he had to leave on Sunday, then come back on Friday.
And
I said mate selection. I just said mate selection.
My mom was a good man. That was a good mate selection.
I'm talking about mate selection. Your dad was there, bro, but your dad wasn't no deadbeat.
Yo, yeah, you knew where your father was. That's good.
I'm not
trying to say you
talking about mate selection.
But I'm talking about when you're like, you gotta be the man of the house.
July. Come on, go ahead, your turn.
Doesn't matter the mate selection. Depending on the circumstances, you might have to be that person. They don't.
But I told you I had the same thing because my dad.
All right, 1, 2. We're gonna get ready to wrap it up.
Do you notice how we're making the same cycle? Like, okay, so the child is supposed to act like the man, right? And then, but the child is also no father, right? There's a huge gap right here. There's a bunch of development that needs to be done. You cannot make a house with twigs, right? You cannot ask these little kids to go and be a father figure when they have absolutely no experience in anything. These kids don't know how to shade. These kids don't know how to toss a baseball, right? I had to be thrown into high school and college.
My dad don't know how.
And then they're asking these kids to go build a family and be the man, and they'll go get the bread and then come bring it home, right? This is a lot.
That's why they leave.
That's why I do the.
Right?
That's what this
You
game.
can be the man, you can act all mature and everything, but then when you get to the actual point, because your father wasn't there and all that, when you get to the point,
It's a lot of struggle.
you're not gonna be able to do that. You're gonna crumble.
You gotta
can't
rewire.
build a house with twigs.
You gotta rewire
Think,
yourself.
think about it today. Prime example. When we had these reading to the boys today, y'all didn't see not one person, parent, stick their head in and be nosy.
No,
Actually, we
Did
did.
y'all
I saw her.
see
She
one?
walked past real fast.
Yeah, but
I saw a grown dude. He was up there like he was. I mean, this is a grown
Yeah, but
big
you would
old
think they
man.
would have peeked in and take a look. So it's just got it's family dynamics. It's a lot, man. So July will end off on you, and then we'll.
Because I kind of wanted to bring up something that's kind of it probably might open up on another topic, but at the same time, yes, I don't care about the deadbeats or whatnot. They need to take care of the kids, but we also need to address the fact that a lot of black men are also done dirty by the system at large. Is the reason why they can't be part of the family. Because at the same time, like there are deadbeats, but at the same time, like let's say, like no offense, like in Jalen's case, where it's like the father wasn't ready to do it, he wasn't financially stable enough, he wasn't able to do it, or like somebody got hemmed up on some falsified charges, or somebody got hemmed up on charges that were very much exacerbated, or like there were like some extenuating circumstances that happened for them to not be in the child's life, because. At the same time, we can't just look at the family while not also looking at the world at large around us. Because the world around us also messes with who we are and our family as well.
My aunt did that, bro. She said she wanted the kid and she didn't want the father in the household at all. That's what she said. She wouldn't let him be in the household.
Exactly, and that's another thing.
Women will do that.
That's another thing.
That's true, but I think that's really a small population.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
want to generalize a lot.
No.
Okay, the system. Now we know the system has destroyed black families, right? But also, that is not the reason why fathers are not in the home. That is a part of the problem,
Absolutely.
but not actually.
I would never say that. I would never say that.
That is so.
But the courts do
it's
play a role
definitely-
too. Cause I heard.
No,
'cause-
it plays a
yeah.
role, but I bet you it is a small population. If we were to do a survey on this campus with the women, how many fathers are in their lives, I bet you it would probably be 20% of the women on campus whose fathers are in their lives. So what about the other 80%? Because we did it one day. It was like 30 girls or something, and you asked the question about the father, and it was like 4 people to raise their hand. So are we saying that the rest of those 16 girls, their fathers were of the system?
No,
Something happened to them?
I wasn't saying that. I wasn't saying that. No, I completely acknowledge the deadbeats, and I completely said that. I'm saying that, like, every father that's not in a children's life is not always the father's fault, but a lot of times it is. I'm not gonna disregard and say, oh no, there aren't deadbeat dads. It's absolutely deadbeat dads. I know a few of them, but I'm saying there's like, it's not always just one thing at play.
And sometimes women will turn that kid against their own dad.
I have seen that.
I've seen that.
But it goes back to, he said, the development, fellas, the roots of these families, these traditions, these things keep getting passed down and passed down.
You gotta choose.
Y'all got to break it in your family, brother. I'm
Yes.
telling you. I seen this meme. It had his daddy shielding his son, and the thing said, "Sometimes you got to shield your kids from your family's pain." And my son, he knows my family back home, but it's so dysfunctional that sometimes I don't even bring him in it. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
I'm showing him how to raise his family. That's the only way we're gonna get through it. We keep dabbling in it and just passing it down. We're gonna be at other round tables. You keep saying the black man, the system, this. Y'all are on the college campus. Y'all are the talented 10. Think about it. Y'all are supposed to be the brightest. Y'all are the ones who have to break the system. Just like when I was here, I had to break it. Like, y'all gonna have to do it. We can't wait on no. I ain't gonna say I'm gonna say that. I'm about to say something. We can't wait on nobody to do it for us.
We can't wait on Superman.
That's what I
But
Yeah,
you
that's
say
what I'm
you
saying.
talk about love like breaking the system. I mean, half the time you talk to people, they don't want to break it themselves.
You gotta start from
Start.
young.
Start with you.
Alejandro,
Because the moment I said semen retention, everybody was killing me.
No.
we're saying that.
No.
It's not
No,
different
that's
subject.
out of context.
Please.
Firstly.
No, that's not out of context. If some of our people practice that though, I bet you there'll be a lot of people saying they don't have a good connection with
No,
their dad.
the reason why we got on you is because you try to preach it and push it on us.
I'm not
That's the
pushing.
reason.
I said something.
You gotta respect other people's beliefs.
I said it was up
That's
to you. I
something
said
don't
I
do
just do it.
sometimes.
But you can't push it. If you push it, I might want to hear it. Let's sit down and talk about it. I might say,
Exactly.
And just talk about it like that. But
allow
you say,
somebody to
wrong. I ain't hearing it.
It's
like,
okay to suggest a lifestyle than just a plan of like it's righteous, like more righteous and holier than that.
So we've been talking from the beginning, but ladies, what is that fatherhood?
I feel you. No, I understand.
Do y'all agree with that, or how's that fatherhood piece of the fake gone? We've been going at it like we was. I want to hear the ladies too. I want to hear about this fatherhood piece with her.
Like, how does it affect us?
How does it affect you, and what do you think what we said about it? How does it affect women not having a father?
I definitely agree with what Jonathan was saying about how it's a huge gap. I know since coming here to the MAC, I don't have a father. Well, yeah, I do not have a positive role model as a father in my life at all. And he was not in my life most of my life. But since I've been coming to the MAC, I don't know, I be around Mr. Andrews a lot, and like I see how he treats his daughter, and I see how he talk about like women and stuff, and it just makes me want to have somebody who does, like, it's the positive, I don't know the word for it. Yeah, like I see like that's something that I missed out on, and like sometimes I just get sad because I'm like, dang, like his daughter, like she has a wonderful day, and like she's gonna grow up and she's gonna know, maybe this dude ain't good for her, or maybe you should stay away from this type of person. But like I didn't have that. I had to like learn the hard way, and not having a father figure in my life. I was also that person that had to step up, and like I had to help raise 4 kids, because my mom ain't have no man in the house to do it for. She was doing it all by herself. So it was very hard, and I definitely had to grow up very fast. And it was a lot of times where I definitely just now learning how to take care of myself, because I was never worried about myself. I was always worried about everybody else. So it definitely was detrimental and hard.
Not be selfish a little bit.
That's but you can't. It's hard to be selfish when you love your family.
Well, like, I totally understand that.
Bro, I want you to understand, right? Over this past year and change, like since I've been to college, I had to learn how to be selfish.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
I think I was selfish to begin with.
I mean, me too. I was selfish too, man.
Maybe I know what he wants.
No more? Anybody else?
On the whole fatherhood piece?
I mean, personally, the whole dad situation, yes, it does affect your relationship with like boys and stuff for girls at a girl point of view. Not having a dad in my life, I don't know what I expect from a dude. So like when I keep going through the same stuff, it hurts me, and I try to like reevaluate myself instead of reevaluating them. And personally, it's not even just like not having a dad. My entire like family, I don't have like a true male that I would look up to and say, oh yeah, he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Like none of the males in my family are like worth looking up to. So I guess that affects how I look at like dudes like y'all and stuff.
I really agree with her. Like me growing up, like my dad, like he wasn't there at all, and I felt some type of way because I feel like he married. You know, she had a child, and I was looking at it like you can raise this child that's not even yours, but you can't do that to someone that's yours. So I mean, growing up, I'm independent, so I really don't like. I don't know how to.
Well, all y'all stories sound so similar to mine. I didn't have my father either. He was never in my life, ever was in my life. And I grew up hard, and my grandma ended up raising us, and I ended up raising my sisters and my brothers and the siblings. And you're right, I had to grow up early and learn how to take care of the house and learn how to do all those things. And I had a lot of bumps and bruises, and I'm 40, and if I can tell y'all, it does still affect you. I remember growing up and just being sad when I would see, father-daughter dances and seeing people with their dads or even their uncles and not even having that kind of positive stability there, And I went through a lot. And then, I had my son, and I thought it was something, and he made promises to me, and things were good until they weren't. And then he chose the streets. And guess what? I became a single mom, And then raising my son. And, my son was a cohort member here, and, he came here to Central, and I did one of those trying to push him to do more and be more, and, and he's not here. He chose something else, so you just...
It's hard, y'all.
You just don't know. I mean, it's easy to cut a cookie and say this is how it's supposed to do. But people have different experiences in life that molds their life. And I think it's all our individual journey. I mean, maybe this was supposed to be because I was able to take all that pain and everything, and now I'm here with y'all. You know, so I just think it's just all our individual journey. So, yeah, hooray to those who have two parents in the home. That's wonderful. You know what I mean? But it doesn't make you more qualified or better than the person who only had one parent in the home. You know what I mean? If anything, that person with one parent, it makes you more fortified, stronger. You know, it makes you more wittier because you see more things. You know what I mean? You go through those bumps and bruises and you get up. It makes you resilient. You know what I mean? So I want us to learn from each other that even though we have different stories, it doesn't mean that one outweighs the other. Not at all.
I sit here listening to everybody's story. I definitely feel fortunate now that I have a healthy relationship with my mom and my dad. They're both amazing people, even my stepmother. And I think while growing up and having our situation, I feel like I learned that you can teach us at this age of how we should be, but a lot of that stuff is how we break curses. We start when they're born and how they grow up. So I'm gonna make it my effort to, if I have children, to be there every single day. And I feel like that's where we should start. That's why I like talking to younger kids. They're so much easier to talk to, and I feel like I help when I talk to them.
You got to. So for me, if you haven't talked to your father or your mom one day, you have to forgive them. And until you forget, and it took me so many years to just forgive my dad. I said, you know what? His dad probably wasn't the best either, so I had to forgive him. And when I forgave him, then I started living better. And then, you know, he still tried to come around and talk. And I told him, I said, I have a son now. If you're not going to be consistent, I'm not even going to let you in this world. I gave him a couple tries. He wasn't consistent. And his mom's grandfather, he on his way down there right now this weekend. They love him to death. I told him, you're not going to do the same thing that you did to me. Either you're going to be consistent or you won't even exist. And so I gave him a couple opportunities. He wouldn't even exist. My son knows about him, but he don't ask about him. He asks about his pawpaw every day because he's consistent. So that's just how it is. Y'all got to stop letting people in your life, give them some chances. Like you said, when they're not showing you who they are, you're going to have to move on because they'll continue to hurt you. And you're going to be the one holding the shit, holding that bag. And if you can't do that, you're going to keep getting hurt. You're going to keep running to the same type of dude, same type of women, same type of relationship. And so y'all in college, this is y'all best times of your life. If I can go back for 4 years in college, I'd be a monster out here. And I'm not talking about dating women. I'm just talking about the opportunities, the things I would be a beast. I look back and say, damn, I didn't do nothing like I should have. And y'all got it, man. Y'all so smart, and the things y'all do, if y'all really take advantage of y'all 4 years, man, y'all, I'm telling you. Because that degree don't make it sufficient. Like, because you got a degree, don't think the world is going to change. But if you do all the small things and fix yourself, you can take that baggage into your job. They're like, I ain't going to, she always got a damn attitude. Nobody want to eat lunch with you or the dude. Like, if you late now, you oversleep, you're going to start doing it when you work. Like, them habits don't change.
I think a lot of our topics have like one central focus, from relationships to how we treat our family. Everything starts with you. So most of the things comes from your growth and what energy you put out. So whether you grow from things or you let it bog you down, it begins with you. Like, you may have had this problem, but you do have time to grow from it, and you do have time to understand, get your forgiveness, you got apology, therapy even. You have that time to grow and mature, and that's all it is. It's you.
And forgiveness ain't for them, it's for you, man. You gotta drop that baggage.
It is.
Really.
They didn't have a class for like conversations like this, at a younger age. Because I'm looking even at the people that went to school in high school. They already got kids. Like they just had kids and relationships.
Kids 20 years old. My son said.
They're not here to like get this. They're not here to get this conversation though.
But we can do these conversations. We just got to make sure they're fruitful. We can do. I think this is the move, man. Y'all got to heal each other and don't look at nobody. Even when you see people, you see students that don't have a lot. You see them dressed crazy. Y'all should come together. Like, y'all seen her or girl? Let's make sure they good and check on them. We'll walk past them. Some people record them. Look at bruh shoes. Them things leaning like you don't know his story. So we got to. This is supposed to be your family. This y'all city. Y'all live in Durham. But y'all live in the city of North Carolina Central University. Think about it. Y'all got everything y'all want on this campus. Restaurants, mail gets shipped in, housing, food. This is y'all city right here. Y'all, this real. This is your city. This is your people. Yeah, you live in Durham, but you gotta take care of your people.
And one thing too, guys, like after this, like I want us to realize as black men, speaking just to the guys, like we have to be real intentional about how we treat our women on campus. Like if you see a woman, especially she come out of the caf or she walking across campus, I don't care if you don't know her, ask her if she needs an escort across campus or even make sure she's safe. I think one of the things that Ms. Troy brought to my attention, we get these emails about, peeping toms, all this kind of craziness. We have to make sure that we are protecting our black women because they are going to birth like our future generations. And you don't want them having a negative connotation of who we are. And so we have to change that. And that's going to start with y'all. So any woman y'all see, like, and it ain't you trying to get something from her. Ask her, like, how, and when you ask them, like, how are you doing? Like, inquire, like, how are you doing? Are you good? And have care and concern for these women because I'm telling you, like they're our future, and it's disheartening to me. And I hear women who are my age, 40 years old, they're so disheartened about men kind of giving up. Like it's just crazy. And then I even hear some of y'all say, "I have no hope." And and I'm thinking about, I have a little girl. I'm like, dang, who's she gonna date? I want a daughter. I might have to move to Africa or something. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's what's up.
And think about
Look, we want to show y'all that people about
this. Andrew, you ever thought about this? And you think about, and we can even think about where men step out with women and they call the woman a homewrecker. Like she dealt with bad men and say they start working together and see him and they say, "Man, he's such a good dude." She might fall in the, why I didn't get that, and she ain't healed, and she might make a pass. That's how things happen too. Them unbroken feelings in the workplace. You work with people, or it can happen. So I'm saying, until we all heal, we're gonna continue to go in this cycle. I know a lot of women say he was just a good dude, and I just fell in love the way he treated his family. I wanted that.
But you gotta.
But you see, bro, you gotta think about that. You think everybody just born with this straight line?
I'm
saying now the next discussion I want to talk about. I want to talk about if men. You heard all these men say their mom is so nurturing. If black men say the mom is the most important thing in their life, why do we treat our black women so bad? If we say mom is the dang on juggernaut, that's on the next episode.
Oh, please.
That's the next episode. Think about that though. All these men in here say my mama, she nurturing, but we treat women.
Hey, I treat women good. How you feel?
I'm gonna say what you said was true, but
thank you.
No, but here's the thing. Men do treat black women.
We do.
At a worse rate.
Then we need to.
I think that was pretty good. Y'all been going
What's the name of the podcast again?
Conversations in the mat.
Conversation. Are we gonna do this again on Monday?
We gotta do it like 2 days a week. We can't do it every day. How you shut this man?